Hello, and welcome to another how-to video, this time in SolidWorks Electrical. In a previous video walking through SolidWorks Electrical, I promised future content going over how to get more parts in because SolidWorks, as installed, the database is a little light on the actual parts we might need to use for a set of schematics. Um, how to modify the symbols for things that we like this is a schematic that I started in a previous video, how to get this to not look so terrible, how to create our own symbols. And this is important because the real gold in SolidWorks Electrical is its ability to tie a manufacturer's catalog part number to the schematic directly. We can do all kinds of cool things then, like list the part number directly on the drawing so that if I'm looking here and there's a switch, I can see what that switch part number is. You know, if it breaks, I know where to buy it just by looking at the drawing itself. It also links everything through the database so we can generate a bill of material very easily. Um, and so on and so forth. So I thought I would start out with sort of how to get content, get the manufacturer's parts in here. Now, the way I have done it in the past is just simply brute force in Google, right? Looking for things like Allen Bradley SolidWorks Electrical, uh, or Siemens SolidWorks Electrical. I have done it that way, and it works. There are quite a few manufacturers who, if you get out there on their websites, you will find the zip files of part numbers that you can bring directly into SolidWorks Electrical. So that works. The way that I'd like to show off here, though, this way actually it's a little cleaner because it all goes through SolidWorks, but at the same time, because it goes through SolidWorks, it actually does require a subscription, and a subscription specifically to their electrical content portal. And I mean, I'm operating on the academic version of SolidWorks Electrical. Our license is the academic version, so it does have a subscription already to the electrical content portal. So to do, what we're talking about, I need to be in the library up here on the ribbon. I'm going to go into the manufacturer's part number. And first, I've already done this on this installation. We need to update the subscription, and it will ask you to either log in or create a login for that electrical content portal, and then it'll tie this license here for um, into your username on the portal. That's how they can sort of track and see if you have a subscription and you're allowed to download these things. Once that's updated, then we can click on electrical content portal. It will open. Where's my taskbar? Taskbar is always disappearing on me. It will open this page. It might ask you to log in first, which it did for me. Um, the reason that I didn't just click it and let it open is because I'm on my Baker provided laptop, and for some reason they default to Edge, and I do everything through Chrome. So I just, sort of copied the URL over to Chrome so I could do it there. Anyway, you could click it, open that, if you like your and I don't have, for reasons still unknown to me, it requires admin rights to change the default browser, but that is neither here nor there. So it opens you to this page. This is the home page for the electrical content. These are the most downloaded catalogs. So basically, the most popular manufacturers um, on the site. So this is probably a good place to start. I want to dig in deep. I'm going to definitely start with a few of these. I'm going to dig in a little deeper to see if there's some other manufacturers that I use frequently. But for instance, let's start. I mean, I do a lot with Rockwell Automation, right? Um, so I click on Rockwell Automation, and I'm also not only on my work laptop filming this video, I'm also on the work Wi-Fi, which is even worse. So it opens up this is basically everything that the content portal has from Allen Bradley. Or I'm sorry, Rockwell Automation, because Allen Bradley and Rockwell Automation, especially important in SolidWorks Electrical, are treated as two different companies. We all know that they're effectively the same, but they're treated as two different companies in the world of SolidWorks Electrical, so we need to remember to treat them that way. Each of these are individual parts. This icon in here, and you got content type over here, it can tell you what the icons mean, over on the left. These are all individual parts, and you could go down one by one by one. and download just the ones you want. Me, I'm sort of a completionist, and I don't want to have to come back here digging every time I need a relay, right? The 700 series are relays. I don't want to have to come back just because I got one different part number off, right? Plus, there's 59,000 parts here. Like sorting through them, it could be kind of a mess. So, what I like to do, and this is not necessarily advice, this is just what I do. I'm going to click here on electrical package. And there's still 71 files in there, so 71. But it brings those to the top of the list. And this basically packages a whole bunch of part numbers together. So for instance, thermal magnetic relays, if I click on the wrench for part icon, tells me there's 164 different parts in there. So I'm going to get 164 thermal magnetic relay part numbers all in one shot. PLCs slash IO modules, 4 parts. That's cute. I would have bet those are probably under Allen Bradley. Circuit breakers, 2,700 parts. So we get all of those all at once, and I don't have to worry about it again. So I'm going to grab a couple of these for the purposes of demonstration. What's in fuses? 2. Let's grab circuit breakers. I'm just going to, for the purposes of this video and the fact that I haven't actually installed any of these. So notice up here in my downloads, the file format that SolidWorks Electrical works with is TEWZip. That's the file extension. It is effectively a zip file. I don't honestly know what the TEW stands for, but it's just a zip file that then SolidWorks Electrical can unpack and do things with. I did that one. I looked at it, right? Two. What else? Well, let's get some more part numbers so we can build something. What is in PLCs? 950. Let's try it. I don't know what's in there. I'm just grabbing some parts, boxes. I'm going to grab, will I grab that? No, not yet. We'll deal with boxes later. 1492 could be a fun one, but there's not a lot in it. Again, I'm just sort of, in previous videos, stream of consciousness. So 3100 relays. Let's do it. I'm just trying to grab some parts so that when we jump back into the software, we can make some, oh, PLC, I see what we're doing here. PLCs, because power supply slash power supplies in the software. We have not gotten there, and I don't think in a how-to video yet. In SolidWorks Electrical, PLCs is sort of a top-level category of parts, and then underneath are things like power supplies, connection interfaces, I/O modules, and then under I/O modules are digital I/O, analog I/O, stuff like that. So how many parts are in here? 470 I/O modules? Let's try it. And we'll call it there, and that should give a good. Well, I want straight up power supplies if I can find it, just so we can throw one of those in and sort of demonstrate what it looks like. So I know Allen Bradley makes power supplies. It's a matter now of just finding Power Flex. That's a VFD. It's a matter of finding the power supply category. And it may not even be here, maybe in Allen Bradley. Power supplies, cells, battery. So power supplies, again, top level, cells, batteries. These would be batteries. I don't really want that. I just want power supplies. Is that so hard? Like, give me a power supply. Signaling resistors, power flex sensors, detectors, fuses, output cards, output digital I/O, power supply, PLC power supplies. Power supplies, there we go. 92 part numbers. All right. So we've got I've downloaded sort of a random smattering of parts just so that we can have some stuff to play with. So then back in SolidWorks Electrical, we need to unarchive all of the stuff we just downloaded. And it's just about that simple. Find them in your downloads page. I've never tried to do multiple ones all at the same time, so I'm going to try it. It's going to open up this sort of wizard. Honestly, I'd usually just click finish. I don't really care what it's doing in the middle, but I'll click next and walk you through sort of, at least talk through sort of what it's doing when you just jump to the finish. So it's going to ask you, what do you actually want to bring in? I want to bring it all in. Like usually that's the whole point. I want all of it. That's why I downloaded all of it. Because parts are separate from 2D footprints. 2D footprints are the actual sort of two-dimensional CAD drawing of, say, that circuit breaker that we'll use when we do a cabinet layout, right? Symbols are the symbols that will go in our schemes. I want those. That's why I went out and downloaded them. So that's why, I mean, so here it's telling me it's going to bring in these specific symbols. Yes, that's what I wanted it to do. It's telling me it's going to bring in these. It's going to add, right? Add, add, add. You can go through one by one and deselect. It's going to add those 2D footprints, which is what I asked it to do. It's going to update the Rockwell Automation manufacturer. Rockwell Automation already exists as a manufacturer. Of course, it's going to update it. So generally speaking, like just finish, right? There's not, I mean, I downloaded the entire catalog of parts because that's what I wanted to do. Except it, oh, because I select multiple files. So I'm just going to finish on the rest of these. I selected multiple files, so it's probably just going to pop one up for each unpack operation. Yeah, 3261. Yep. Each unpack operation then. So that's good to know. That's the first time I've ever selected multiple libraries to sort of import all at once. It'll just pop up a new wizard window every time. And then we get to sit through each one while it just, sort of brings them in. But that's a good application to just hit finish because I don't care about all the stuff in the middle. So wait. And we wait. Riveting content here from, the professor, right? So how are you all doing? Leave a note in the comments if you're finding this slightly less than boring so far, but it's still good information to have. And we're going to do this, and then I will also quickly, very quickly, hopefully, discuss how to create sort of our own part number. So now, what all did I bring in? I brought in circuit breakers, right? I think circuit breakers. So now, if I go through Rockwell Automation. Should have a ton of them in here because I just imported a ton of them, right? And if you remember the sort of the video where I start out by saying I hadn't been in here and I don't know how I had modified my installation, this was a pretty empty, this manufacturer part catalog was pretty empty, but now I got all of these parts in here. So I'm going to jump out of here before I create my own part. I'm going to jump out of here and I want to put one of those in to sort of demonstrate, like I promised, the power of those parts. So I'm going to insert a symbol. And because I was in circuit breakers, I'm just going to stick with that. I'm going to insert a circuit breaker. Let's just grab a single pole circuit breaker. Pretty simple, right? I'm going to drop it in here on line 2, right? It gives it a Q. I'm guessing again that that's an LE or IEC thing. I don't want it to be IEC. I'd rather have it be CB. So I'm going to change the root to CB and the formula will automatically update it. So I've got a CB502 in there now. I'm going to draw a single wire and check my wire type 24 volt DC. That's what I want here. And now on the other side, I do have a wire type for the common right there, DC common. Okay, so the circuit breaker's in, it's connected. Now, I'm going to right click on this bad boy and I am going to go to symbol properties. Okay, and I was incorrect. That's not symbol properties is not what I want. I would like to assign a component. This is usually, honestly, this is usually easier. This is usually easier if we do it on at the time of insert. So why don't I do that? Why don't I pretend like I just, did things in the right order. Insert a symbol here. Um, why are you giving me so much grief? Oh, there we go. I was just on the wrong tab. Manufacturer parts. Right? There's a tab up here, manufacturer parts. Hey, look at that. Again, I haven't even been in this since April. Back off. This is why you'll notice in none of my videos do I ever claim to be an expert. All I ever claim is that I've done it for a minute. Um, so we're here. I want to search. I can either create a brand new one, or I can search my existing database. Uh, the class, these are filters basically for the search on this side. Then our options to select from will pop up over here. Class is difficult. Um, class, the very first thing on the filter can mess things up, like same class. Like for instance, I mentioned when I was on the website view a few minutes ago that PLCs, power supplies, are a subset of PLCs. But if I pick same class, I'm looking for a power supply. I won't find it because it's under PLC power supply. It's a tricky filtering game we have to play here sometimes. So I mean, if you're failing to find parts that you like know exist, like say you created it and you know it exists, play around with this class and even this, just open it up to any, like any. I know what the part number is. I just made the part number, right? I just don't remember what class I put it in. This has been, in my experience, the number one thing that frustrates me when trying to find parts is that usually because I screwed up the class that I put the part that I created in. So just be warned of that. So otherwise, sort of the same caution for type. There are different types. If I go down here, it can be a base, it can be an auxiliary, so all kinds of different things. It really depends on what the in this case the manufacturer, because I'm going to go out and I'm going to grab an Allen Bradley part number. Um, and it really depends on what they called it, whether they called it a base or not. In fact, usually I turn that off and just make it all instead of base, just in case. I have downloaded some manufacturers' catalogs in the past where it gets kind of spicy as far as what type here they define for their parts. So I just prefer to stay clear of that and sort of call it a day. So we're going to search for type. We are going to go to manufacturer and Rockwell, Allen Bradley again. Allen Bradley and Rockwell are separate things in here because Rockwell is what we just downloaded, right? I'm going to hit automatic so I can search, and as I change my searches over here, this refreshes, or I can automatic refresh. I recommend checking that. Cool part is once you check that, you don't ever have to check it again. Why it's not there by default, I don't know. But we want a circuit breaker. I am going to click base because it looks like they did use base for a lot. So that's okay. I'm going to go back to base. Notice it refreshed. This thing updated very quickly. I have no idea what, like, do they have? Okay, they do have current call outs. Those are 3 poles. So one thing I could look at is the number of circuits. Um, the number of circuits, one, two, three should be how many poles it has. 5 pole circuit breakers. Nice. Let's just grab a 1 pole miniature circuit breaker. I have no idea what that part number is off the top of my head, but I'm going to select it, right? It's now assigned to this symbol that I put in, this circuit breaker symbol. Green here means that the actual circuit, terminals 1 and 2, line up with our symbol. Um, by contrast, let me demonstrate what happens if they don't line up. Let's delete that. So this symbol is a single pole circuit breaker. Let's search. And let me pull in a 3 pole circuit breaker. Select. Notice 1 is green because I've got terminals 1 and 2. These 2 are blue because I don't have terminals in the symbol here that I am trying to associate with this part. I don't have terminals for those circuits. The manufacturer part includes definitions of circuits, and I just don't have terminals for these, so they stay blue. Occasionally things will also be red. I will be honest, until it happens, I forget what red means. But blue just means we don't have circuits associated because I grabbed a single pole symbol. I don't have a circuit that I can attach those to. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go back for my single pole. I want, actually, can I just go by circuits here? Size. It's probably easier just to sort by circuit and go down to one. So let's do a single pole. Probably a 1492. Probably. I don't know for sure. I don't have their small parts memorized off the top of my head. Um, but if we accept this now, we should be okay. Oh, I wanted to change that to CV. You can also in the definition, the project settings, and I will do that in a moment, show you where that is so that it doesn't keep, if you like Q, that's fine. right? And I mean, consist at the end of the day, two things matter. Um, your customer matters. What your customer expects to see it look like matters. If they expect to see Q, put a Q on it. If they expect to see a CB, you better put a CB on it. So that matters. The other thing matters is what you like, right? Those are the two things that really matter. I mean, at the end of the day, there are standards. There's the ANSI standard. There's the IEC standard. At the end of the day, though, if you're just doing a schematic for you and a machine that you are going to build in the house, you're not really bound by you're bound. Of course, you're bound by standards as far as safety and whatnot, but you're not really bound. I mean, who really cares how you label things, right, on an in-house schematic? But anyway, I will show just for demonstration purposes how to update that so that we don't have to keep typing in CB. Um, yeah, okay. Notice now we have the part number where we had it before. These now have terminal numbers because this part number had terminal numbers assigned to it when the part was created. That's an important distinction. When you create a part, you can give these terminal numbers and they will populate. And again, like I said, right here on the print now, I have a part number for this circuit breaker. That is huge, having this information there. And that is a thing that I really, 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 really recommend for every single symbol, right? This is a symbol. Every single symbol on your schematic should have part numbers associated with it. It's an awesome feature, and I love it. So, with that, I'm going to shift gears a little bit toward how we sort of modify symbols. And I'm going to start sort of with these guys, because I hate how much they look. And if I go back to this power drawing, I'm going to shift my tab to the front there just so they're in order. I'm going to start here because this is the origin arrow. I want to get rid of this gap. I want this, I want this to land on the line, on the wire. I want to get rid of this because the cross reference is inside it. That's the entire point. And then there's one other thing that I would like to do, and that's back on this control page. So once I take care of those two things, these will be, well, no, because these are the destinations. So I'll have to update these as well to get rid of the gap and this label. Also, there is a setting that I need to change to allow this text to rotate. Like, notice that text is sideways. I mean, I hope that was noticeable. Same thing here. This text is just plain upside down, right? There's a setting that I can change in my symbols. Sometimes it's a setting that you do not want to change. Other times, like in this case, it's a setting that I absolutely want to change. Like, why would I want my text upside down and or sideways? So first, I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to, uh, where are we? Why am I just blank. I knew what I was looking for. I just blanked. I want to go to symbol and open symbol. So this opens up the interface where I can just sort of draw. Um, and it works an awful lot like, AutoCAD. So things in this drawing interface are effectively AutoCAD, right? If I come up here to the draw, this is where the draw tab on my ribbon comes in. This I've got all these shapes, right? I can draw lines and things on here. But basically, I can modify this, and I'm going to modify this. Now, normally I would recommend you just create a new one, maybe even copy and paste all of this into a new one. That way, like the original remains unmolested. Um, in this case, though, this is so terrible. I'm willing to sort of allow it to I'm sort of willing to allow it. So green line doesn't need to be there. As far as I can tell, all that green line is there for is to get some spacing or something right. I don't know. I don't know why that green line is there. It doesn't show up on the drawing, does it? No, there is no green line on the drawing. Um, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of this. I'm going to leave. So this is the insertion point, the red X. When you go to insert this, this is the point where your mouse is basically going to be, right? And I kind of want that to be right here on this middle of this line. So I'm going to move it. Modify, the easiest way to do that and make sure that it, sort of aligns, move. I should be able to, yep, there's a little, I can't zoom in. I don't think it gets any bigger. little green triangle indicates that I'm in the center of that line. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to move it. And actually, if you want to be really precise, I don't even have to use the mouse. Over here on the left, enter coordinates. I can type 0, comma 0, enter, and that's precise. I don't have to worry about the mouse. This is now inserted at 0, 0. Okay. Now, again, with symbols, this is the one time we really need to save because this is an actual DWG file. So I need to Control S to save it. It's now saved. If I go into my power drawing where it's used, I can right click and go to symbol and update. I do want to update identical. Notice it popped over. This one popped over because it automatically flipped. Remember, I showed you in another video these fuses sort of automatically flipping when they hit the wire so that the orientation was correct. This one automatically flipped. In fact, it's obvious this one flipped because that's why it's upside down. Like it's that simple. It's upside down, right? So it flipped. It inverted, so it had the right insertion. Now on the control drawing, these, if I do symbol update, these did not change at all because these are different symbols. Remember, there is an origin version and a destination version. These are the origin version. These are the destination version. I'm sorry, these are the destination version. So I need to go in and do that same change to the destination version. We're going to go to symbol, open, and same thing. I'm going to delete the green line because I don't even know why it's there. Some sort of spacing because it doesn't seem like it actually shows up in a drawing when you use this. Select all of this goodness, leave the arrow, the insertion thing where it is, and then I'm going to modify move. Again, select the center, right? Green triangle, center, and I'm going to go 0, comma 0. Enter. Okay. I'm going to save this, Control S that guy. I can close it now because for now I'm done changing. But now if I update, symbol, update, identical in drawing will update everywhere I've used it. So it updated this one as well. Now it's on the end of the arrow where I want it to be, no gap. That's how I like those to be. Now we need to get rid of sort of this this label out here that's sort of just floating in space. So that is going to come from, if we go to library and symbol management, and in here are origin destination arrows, and that's where all of those live. Here's the one I just changed. These two here. We don't actually, you can, by the way, modify it directly from here rather than right clicking like I did. You can open it up just by double clicking and make modifications directly from the manager. But I don't want to do that. I want to change that setting. There's settings that are also associated. So it's settings and drawing, right? They play together in order to get this thing to work. So to change that, I want to change the settings. So let's go to properties. We want to do right here, keep attribute orientation. That is one setting we need. That is going to keep it, well, in this case, blue on top of red. So file and then row. Um, no matter what, even though it inverts, it won't invert the text that way. So that was one setting. The other setting, cross-reference type without. I have to remember because now I'm forgetting how to actually get rid of that text. I know I've done it in the past, but now that I've changed that setting, if I update all, symbol update, identical. Oh, ew. We can fix it. Ew, but we can fix it. I bet the other one's going to do something similar if I update all. Oh, did I only change the one? Library symbol management, that was destination. Do the same thing for origin. And you, again, I mean, I don't script these things, stream of consciousness, right? Let's keep attribute orientation, which is what we want. Close, update. Symbol, update, identical. Okay, so this is actually technically the one that's backwards. This one was in the correct order. This is the one that's backwards. Now the text is outside. We can fix it. We can fix it We just have to pay attention. Let's go back into the symbol and open it. And we have to pay attention basically to where these things are anchored. And if we look, this right here, this green or this blue dot that I'm changing green by hovering over it, this is where the text is anchored. That text is right aligned. Isn't it? Text center? No, apparently not. Top center. That's where it should be. This one should be bottom center. Yeah. Yeah. So excuse me, we may have to, so one thing we may have to do, why won't you let me get out of this pop-up? One thing we may have to do to make it work the way we want, which might be, I don't know why that's flipping out then. We may have to pop this. Let's select it all and do a modify move. We may have to put it 0, 0 in the middle of our octagon, which conveniently, like, it snaps to, right? It was originally designed to fit our snap grid by default, so I can just click. So I'm going to move it and I'm going to put that on 0. Um, and that should take care of the problem that we just had, I think. But do I know? This one was the origin, I think. Let's update. Symbol, update. Identical. All right, we're centered. We're centered. Everybody's happy. Yay! So we close that guy. We need to do the same thing then to the destination. We're just going to move it to the center. I was wrong. I was just wrong about where to put the origin. Again, it's a thing you do, especially with this symbol. It's a thing you do literally once, right when you install SolidWorks and you notice it's broken the first time. You do it, and then 5 years later, when you have to reinstall SolidWorks, you have to remember that you did it in the first place. First, you have to remember that you did it. Usually, you don't remember until you see it broken, and then. So I also hit save there. Don't forget to hit save, update, identical. Right, we're there. Now I'm still that text on the outside. That's not that's cross-reference text, right? That's cross-reference text, and I'm trying to figure out why it's even there because that's not the right cross-reference for that symbol. So what it is I believe that is what SolidWorks refers to as the cross-reference text. I mean, that should be pretty self-explanatory. What it's supposed to be is a cross-reference as far as where this symbol goes. Like this, the text in here. Well, no, I guess that is right. That is where it goes. But unlike the symbol, this is like automatically generated by the software when we have cross-references turned on. But as far as I saw in here, and this is my issue, if I go to properties, it says without cross-references, cross-reference type without. That means it shouldn't be showing any. That's my problem. That's why I'm not understanding why. That's why I'm not understanding why it's actually showing it, because without should mean that that extra text outside already doesn't show up. So the rest of these, the rest of these parented table, parent line, we can talk about those maybe in a later video and show how they sort of work and how they can change the way your cross references print out. I will say most symbols, especially things like relays, you definitely want cross-referencing turned on so that when you put the symbol on the drawing, it'll tell you automatically where the rest of the parts are, right? A relay coil should be cross-referenced to where its contacts are. That kind of thing. That's what that's for. Without should mean it's already not there. And there's not like any extra data hiding out here. It is not, I want to say right now, it is not this. Because this is gray, this is not, there's nothing here that it's going to print. That's just the insertion point for this circuit. And we'll get to circuits later. And at this point, I'm looking at time and how long this video has been dragging on. Because again, this is a massive diversion from where I wanted to be right now, but it's all good. But all of these have circuits. All symbols have circuits. Well, I shouldn't say all. Symbols that are going to connect to wires need a circuit because you need a place to land the wire, and SolidWorks will only allow you to connect wires to circuits. So your symbols will have circuits. The circuits, when we get into making our own manufacturer parts, the circuits in here in the symbol need to match the manufacturer part so that when I showed you the import earlier and how that circuit breaker had green on its circuits, that's because it lined up to the circuit that was created in here in the symbol diagram. Look at me tie back a half hour ago, tie it all together, nice and clean, like it was scripted. But it's not. It's never scripted. Anyway, that extra text bothers me. I may have to take this offline and figure out why that is. Why that's Yeah, I'm gonna save the changes even though I didn't make any. Anyway, the symbol, the actual insertion of the symbol is now correct. Text will orient. Now, it probably will. In fact, this happens a lot. Let me draw two more, a positive and negative rungs over here. And I'll add more cross references because I want to point out that it does not, even though we fixed it, it is fixed. It's done. It's fixed. It's good. And then I'm going to go to single or origin destination, single insertion, and double check my types. Okay, they're still selected from last time. Here and here, right? I'm just continuing it to the next column on the same page. Here and here. Okay, close. And I'm expecting that one of these will be backwards, or two of them. 515. Oh, no, they're not. What will happen is that even though we fixed it, a lot of times, maybe if I do I'm gonna try a horizontal one. I really want to point this out. I'm not trying to like beat a dead horse here, but I definitely want to point this out. Let's do another origin destination with a single insert and do it on those horizontal ones and see what we get. 5, 8. Well, no, I guess maybe they fixed it. So occasionally what you might run into, they may have fixed this from the older version that I was using. When you insert your origin destination, occasionally you'll find like these are technically, because of the way we drew it, they're rotated, right? From how the symbol is. The symbol, if I open it back up, I should just leave it open. If I open it back up, the symbol is intended to be as horizontally. SolidWorks is automatically rotating it so that the wire connects correctly. Like this is the way, right? This is which one? This is origin. So this one's correct. This one's technically backwards. So what might happen is you might insert it, even though we fixed it, you might insert it and your numbers might still be upside down. All that takes to fix, should it happen, once you have corrected it the way I just did, is a quick symbol update and it'll fix itself. They may have solved it. It may not do that anymore. It doesn't look like it is, because I should have seen it by now. But I haven't. So yeah, they may have fixed it. The cross-reference thing though, this is bugging me. Like attributes. So those are the actual attributes inside the hexagon. That cross-reference should not show up. I may have to take this offline. Let's check one more time in the symbol manager because really we only have two places we can mess with this, right? We've got here just by opening it up, or we've got the manager, and the manager is a little more useful because we can get to those properties as well. Without cross references means it should leave that off, and it's actually kind of bugging me that it's not. I'll play around with that off the screen and see what I can figure out because again, I'm already derailed. This lecture, this video, this how-to, this guide is getting a little long. Hopefully that was helpful in getting, we did go through a little bit of modification, right, of symbols. Um, and effectively the same type of process. It's just basic drawing tools when we need to create our own. I like to create my own for certain things. Now I may go out and find some of those Allen Bradley PLC pieces we downloaded, but um, specifically for PLCs, I was never happy with some of the things that the manufacturers put out there. So I would always create my own like I/O modules and things. Plus, I could set up the symbol to be the right size so that it fit appropriately on the drawing. That was always a big plus as well. So I may still walk through that in a separate video as far as how to create our own. But for now, this should at least this definitely gets a step further toward a complete package because we have at least access now to the symbols that come pre-packaged with SolidWorks Electrical, and I showed you how to sort of attach those to manufacturer parts so that we get sort of both showing up on our drawings. Oh, one last thing I was going to do is show how to change this CB so it quits coming up as a Q. And that is in our not process, project configurations. And if we go to project, right, it opens up a bunch of tabs up here. And we've got marks. And I do believe it's in mark. Is it in mark? Maybe. Maybe I'm in the complete wrong spot. I thought it was in Mark. It may be, huh? It may be in symbols. So let's check the symbol manager and circuit breakers. And where's the single pole? And I want properties. Uh, Oh, look at me. Look at me try to instruct on another thing that isn't quite working. Why? Is it in the manufacturer part? Is it in the manufacturer part? That's possible. Circuit breakers. Somewhere, I promise you, somewhere. We need a circuit breaker base single pole. I don't really care if it's the same part number we were using. I just want a circuit breaker sort by circuits. Um, sort by circuits. Why do we jump from 0 to 2? Excuse me? Why do we jump from 0 to 2? Where are the ones? Where are the ones? That's interesting, I guess. Question mark. 1492 to. All right. I gotta be honest. I don't care. I don't care if it's got a one pole. I don't care how many poles it's got. I just want to see. There's a very specific thing I want to see. Properties for that part. There should be mark root. So when we create a component from this object, we can define a mark root here. Otherwise, the drawing is going to use a default setting. And that default setting is going to be defined. Honestly, I don't remember if it's defined. Maybe drawing style, maybe no, that's something else. It should be in project buried in here somewhere. It's going to define it. Whether it uses Q or CB, uh, and things like that. So I'm trailing off because I truly don't remember. And again, there's another diversion for what was supposed to be the end of this video. Again, I hope this was helpful. Hopefully it was at least mildly entertaining as I rambled even worse than usual. If you learned something, I promise that was entirely accidental. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.